Oh, he was? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and call the Zandt County Commissioners Workshop together to order on Wednesday, August the 17th at 2022 at 11:08 a.m. Now its quorum is established. We do have a quorum. Public comments. Anybody sign up for public comment? No one signed up for public comments. This is a grant works project workshop. Is there anything from the commissioners? And where we at, Chad?
I think Mr. Black here.
Okay,
They're listening.
okay. Barry Black is appearing by Zoom, going to give us an update. Mr. Black?
Yes, sir. Good morning. So I'll just start with the new dispatch center project. The Zybex dispatch furniture and carpet was delivered yesterday. The carpet and furniture are being installed as we speak. It should be finished tomorrow. After that, we'll have an inspection. I'll be there on site tomorrow. Chad and myself, and I believe Scott's going to join for a demo of the furniture and some of the functions and features of the furniture before they wrap up their installation. So that's scheduled for tomorrow around 11:30. The Eaton UPS for the dispatch center has been delivered along with the CAD computers from Dell and 18 27-inch monitors from Dell as well, along with some wireless bases and headsets for the dispatchers to use as well. So that's all been delivered. We are waiting on a couple batteries and a bypass switch for the UPS so that installation can be wrapped up by Gold Star. But they are all the electrical and upgrades, grounding upgrades at dispatch are about 80% done, except for that bypass switch getting installed and tested. Scott may have an update. They have not come in yet. Okay. Okay. Well, as soon as it does, we will notify the electrician and they can get that portion of it installed. Scott, has all the data and voice wiring been installed and all?
Yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
It was covered up by the burner. We put some patch cords in the walls so that we'll have them there, so they'll go back in. There's a couple of places where I can remove the panels easily. There were some that's behind fixed cabinets. That's typically one period.
Okay.
We put the patch cords behind there. I just had to pump them out when we set things up in there to know what goes. Yeah. A lot of our electrical outlets were covered up by panels as well. But they're going to cut. We said it's going to cut me 2 holes in some panels to make it that more accessible to the power and the network.
And the network jacks
Covered up by part. And he's going to send us a couple of drawings to fill this hole. We didn't have any extra drawings.
Bass is waiting to come in.
Oh.
sounds good, Scott.
Okay.
Did you mention the variance issue on the tower site?
No, not yet. Not yet. That good point. The I'll have that at the end here, Chad.
Okay.
Set back. So the kind of the next steps for the dispatch center is there are going to be 2 new they're called 24/7 chairs, but essentially they're chairs that can be used 24/7 high duty cycle chairs that are being delivered next Wednesday between 8 and 5. So that'll kind of complete the Zybex order. The county is evaluating HVAC upgrades for the dispatch area. And so that's something that's ongoing. And Gold Star will finish the grounding and electrical installation once that bypass switch arrives that Scott was mentioning. So if we kind of transition from the dispatch center over into the P25 joint radio system project, it all is kind of together, but a little separate because they were separate RFPs. But the radio system, of course, last week on Wednesday, the contract with L3 Harris was signed. L3 Harris is working with the county to generate an invoice for all the L3 equipment that is going to be provided for the dispatch center that'll be part of the ECCOG SERI grant. That has some time constraints associated with it. We are kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern, but we hope today to hear back from the state of Texas e-grants and the ECCOG on approval of the modified budget items list that we sent to them last Thursday. So hopefully that'll get approved today. And so those $518,000 can be spent. We've got all of it kind of spoken for there. We just need that approval, and then we can move forward with getting Harris to develop and put together their invoice for that. Let's see here. Again, the SERI grant funds need to be obligated by August 31st, meaning that we need invoices for all those goods and services dated before or on August 31st. And it looks like, we're not going to have any problem with that, especially if we get the approval from the ECCOG today. So hopefully we'll have L3 Harris's invoice, the following day. The ECCOG SERI grant funds need to be expended by November 28th, meaning that those all need to be, we need to have that equipment in and that paid for. So we have some time there, but we definitely need those invoices dated before the 31st so that there's no issues with that portion of it. So the following up steps or the next steps for the P25 system. So L3 Harris, when a company like Harris is in a proposal mode, they have a team of people that are responsible for, let's say, the sales and the proposal. But once it actually becomes a real project and the contract signed, they transition it over to what's called an implementation team. So they are now putting together their implementation team, which will be an L3 Harris project manager that's assigned to the county project, a radio frequency engineer that is assigned to the project. And I just found out today there's also a kind of an accounting or finance person at Harris that's also assigned to the project. So there's kind of a team of 3 people that'll be dedicated, will be responsible for y'all's project, and we'll be working with them on a daily, if not weekly or daily basis on this. After that team's been assembled, there will be a kickoff meeting for the project with that implementation team, and I'm assuming that's going to happen here in the next week or 2. We will, after that, we'll be working with that Harris team on all the items and tasks associated with what they call the expedited console project. And that's all the equipment that's being bought through that ECCOG SERI grant. And we need to work out a few details with them with regards to the equipment racks they're going to put over at the dispatch center in the radio equipment room, the requirements for electrical that they have. We'll get their feedback on HVAC as well. Then we need to look at the delivery, implementation, installation, and cutover there. Those are some of the main components there. Then we'll be working with Harris to evaluate alternate tower locations in the county. We're talking about alternate locations possibly to build the new towers, but moreover, looking at existing tower structures to see if those might be able to be leveraged for this new radio system and save the county money. And one in particular, the DPS tower in precinct 2. That one's right at the top of the list for us to look at, or to get Harris to look at. But we want to always keep in mind, as they're looking at these different tower sites, we want to make sure that the coverage requirements that the county has specified for this radio system are maintained, and that the coverage guarantees that Harris has presented in their proposal are maintained. So we're keeping that on our radar at all times. We'll then continue developing the next RFP, which is for the tower infrastructure. One critical part of this is Harris will need to provide all the necessary specifications that go into that RFP. Not all of them, but a lot of them that are associated with the tower sites and the requirements for tower location, tower height, tower loading, the radio equipment shelter size, and all the requirements for the shelter, like grounding and alarms and HVAC and things like that. And then also we'll need them to specify the size of generators that are needed at these sites so that we have, backup power in the case there's the main power is lost. The kind of the next big phase or item in the project will be the detailed design review, and that's probably about 90 days down the road, and that's when Harris spends a full day describing in detail all the parts and pieces that are associated with the network. And this is after all the sites have been really nailed down, after we evaluate some possible other sites to save the county money. So that's kind of the next big part of the project milestone, let's say, is the detailed design review. Now, Chad brought up a really good point. We also are investigating further. We've in looking at the SO, we've now determined, Chad was able to get drawings of the property. It looks like there's only a 20-foot setback on kind of the western side of the building there, where we were anticipating to build a tower to be built. So that's a really kind of a small area. I think Chad's looking into whether or not towers have to follow setback rules. Maybe that's just an actual structure that is inhabited, but we're trying to find out more details there. So that's something that's being looked at closely, because 20 feet is not a lot of space. And these towers that Harris is calling for a 250-foot tower there at the SO, and it may be very difficult to squeeze that into 20 feet. We were thinking it was closer to 40 feet, but which wouldn't have been a problem probably, but 20 feet is really tight. So that is something that is being looked at in more detail now. And if necessary, we might have to move the tower to the back part of the SO property. So that's my update for today on the project.
Okay. Any questions?
I apologize for the 40-foot there. I went into, as you've seen, the Van County Appraisal District and did the estimates off of their calculations, which obviously, of course, we kind of knew they weren't correct, but I didn't know 40 feet was going to be a big, major problem.
Right. Yes, sir. Well, I think at this point I've got some, I've made some inquiries to a tower construction company that's located in Van, Texas. And I know there'll be one that's going to be bidding on this tower infrastructure RFP. And I've kind of inquired about the size of face widths of these towers for a 250-foot tower, just to kind of see what that distance might be. Is it 20 feet? Is it 18 feet? Or does it need to be 24 feet? And so I'm kind of working it from that side. And I know Chad's kind of working it from y'all's side on whether or not a tower has to follow setback rules from a property line. So we'll get this worked out, but it is kind of a hot item, I would say. And it's definitely following under our next steps right now, trying to figure out what we can do over there. And also, it might be that we can talk to Harris and they can lower the tower height to 200 feet. And that might allow us to get a little smaller tower in there, and it might fit just fine. So we've got to work through those details with Harris and all that, but that is something that's on the radar.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Black? Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Update. Mr. Bass, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. No updates from me. Yeah, just kind of echoing everything Barry just mentioned there. But yeah, no updates in my department. I know the co-file has picked up the files and is proceeding with that that other project that's being conducted using ARP funds. I know there was discussion last time of some voting machines, the purchase of voting machines. Is there any specific requirements that the county has on like the types of voting machines that can be purchased and things like that?
Susan, you want to address that?
I know it's whatever we choose has to have paper, so I mean, I think that's the only thing right now that we're looking at. We reached out to Art to see if we can go ahead and at least try to get some sort of bid from them. And we'll reach back out to ES&S and get a new bid, just so it's updated and everything.
So Susan, you'd be the main contact on this project. I should reach out to you.
Yes,
Okay, cool. I'll reach out to you.
okay.
Other than that, no updates from me.
Okay. Sandy? Anything?
No, I'm good.
It's good that they hired Mr. Black said they hired a financial guy. I couldn't see you, but I know you had to be smiling down there. Yeah.
Sandy, I'll get you his name.
We will probably have lots of talk.
Oh, yeah.
Anything, Chad?
Right, goes pretty much everything I know.
Okay. Any other questions? Scott, you good? Everybody's good. Well, thank y'all. Thank you for appearing.
Thank
for
you.
attending. I think we're adjourned. Workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
You didn't hear those?
Take care. Yeah. I did.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you.